Hello guys, I am back again for the third and final part of this cut work. So I have pinned it down onto the backing fabric. I've written the word cut work on there, so I'm going to be doing a back stitch on that. I might zoom it in and lift it up a little bit. There we go. We know that it's in camera now. We might go out just a tad. There we go. Okay, so what I've done is remember how this bit was it had frayed bits on there, so I've just gotten the thin cotton and I've sewn up to here. And what I'm going to do, just going to do a slip stitch. So I've just pinned it down and also put a little dabble of the glue just to make it hold down. Now this is one thing that we're going to have to do both sides. Where are we? Okay, so now go back down, go under, and we're going to, actually I might do it that way, go like this, because it's quite like it's a little bit sloppy, so we do need to go both sides just to make sure. And this is why we just use like this little slip stitch to hold it into place so it ain't going anywhere. And you have to have the same colour, that's why you need the same colour as what the stitching is, because you don't want to see it. Okay. Very simple finishing off. And what I want to do is just continue doing this for a little bit, because this is the last video. I've enjoyed doing this particular one. It was nice to learn something that I hadn't done before, and you know, like the fact that it is an old, like a vintage technique. Yeah, I like that I've learned how they did it. I mean, they're probably a little bit more, you know, adapting and doing a little bit more to it, being a little bit more filling in extra spaces. But I thought I'm just going to do the outside. You know, a lot of the stitches and embroidery did the inside as well, but these ones just sort of do like a hidden stitch, and then these ones come back and go underneath. Okay, now I started there because on this part I have to use the green. Okay, go underneath. You probably can't see that. Put it up a little higher there. Very easy slip stitch. Finish that off just enough to hold it down. A little bit left, so I'll use this on some of these, and we need to really hold. I might even use it on that one. So as we are doing these, I might pin them down too, because they are a little bit on the wonky side. Hold them so they're not going to move all over the place. So I might use one of these. quite like how you can see the blue in the background. I think I quite like that. So that will be all held down. I might do a smaller one, and I've used quite a thin, just a cotton, cotton thread or a polyester thread, and used a fairly thin needle. You don't want it too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my embroidery thread, and I will, what's that one? No. When I finish sewing it down, I am going to go around the outside. I'm going to put that into the book, sewing around, and then I'm going to go around the outside in the actual book to save me doubling up sewing. I'll show you what I mean. Here's the book. See how on the back of these I've just done stitching on the outside, and then I stitched around that, and that held that down, because you've got to hold them in the books. So actually I might have that over like this. Yeah. And then I'll proceed to do a little bit more stitching. So I might pause it and stitch it down, and then come back, and I will just do the cut work on there. Put that in the middle. There's a little bit stretchy fabric. So yeah, so just get your polyester threads, hold it down, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It has been sewn down, and I've just pinned it down to the actual piece. I haven't done the embroidery yet. I'm going to do the embroidery on there so it goes through. You don't see the back. So what I'm going to do, rather than doing a running stitch, I am doing a backing stitch, because it's very fray. I've had to cut all the fray bits off. So I'll just do a fairly big backing stitch. Normally, to put this on, I would do just a running stitch, but I want to do a backing stitch, so that way if it does fray, it's going to be okay, because it's got extra stitching on it, and it's not less likely to come off. So I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. It is a lot of cut work, and like I said in the previous video, normally you would leave stuff there, and like it wouldn't be as floppy, if you know what I mean. But this is just to show what you need to do. Like that, you'd normally have more stuff on there, and then you'd have the border, but it's good to show what little things you can do. You could probably do some of this technique in down the garden path, or in your other sewing pieces. So just a very quick backing stitch. I sort of did it in this colour. It looks similar, but it gives it a little bit of colour at the same time. So I'm going to finish stitching this on. This is not going to be a very long video today. hopefully you've gone okay with it. I'll just pause and I'll go all the way around. You know what to do, you've seen backing stitch before, so I'll pause it and then I'll come back, I'll do the running stitch and then cut work, and then we are done. Okay, well, finished sewing that on, and I thought while I was there I'll just do a quick running stitch so that holds that down. See how that is, it gets gathered up, but that's okay, that's fine, because it's going to be folded up in that anyway. So what I'm going to do now, have that up there like that. I sort of went out a bit because it is fairly high up and away from me, so I'm just going to sit and chat with you while I do this cut work backing stitch here. So I just love how it's worked out. Yep, I hope that you are doing well. If you want to show me your work on my email, if you go onto my website and in contact, it will take you to an email, so you can put a photo on there of that. And while like this one, this is not a real long video, so this is just a backing stitch what we're doing. So for the next one, and I'll explain it in the first video of the next one, it's not so much a technique but vintage accessories. So grab your list and have a look on all the bits and pieces. I will show you what I am using and what I put in the kit, but you can use other stuff, like, you know, like I've got a vintage buckle, sort of old, where are we, vintage buttons, and what else do we have? I've got a antique lace collar that we're going to be putting in the corner, but if you don't have that, which, you know, they're not easy to come by and you don't necessarily want to cut them up, even if you just get some really nice vintage lace to stick in the corner. So some ric-rac, and, you know, have them all in the colours that you're working with. You could get yourself a here's the bit that I've cut off. Get yourself a bit of vintage quilting or something like that. We're going to be making a little needle case, sort of like a faux needle case. You'll see when I get there. And I've also gotten myself some old needles, and if you happen to have the old sewing, what are they called? Oh my goodness, mental blank. This type of thing. No, this is it. One of those old measuring tapes, this is just a, you know, an old advertisement. Even if you want to use some vintage advertising, you can sew in some papering with it as well. So move this along. Yeah, so it's up to you. Just grab all your bits and pieces. I have put it on a really nice floral background. Yeah, so just grab all the vintage items, and buckles. I mean, I've got plenty of buckles. You just get them at thrift stores. This is a nice one, Paris one, you know. So and we've all got plenty of vintage buttons and all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have any of that stuff, I've got plenty of packs that have got vintage fabrics, and or if you really are stuck for stuff, as you can see, I've got some buckles. I can make you up a bit of a pack with bits and pieces. So yeah, now up there, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that next one. It's something a little bit different. It's not really a technique, it's more the accessories and all the different types of you know, stuff that people used to use back in the day for vintage summing. So sorry, moving this around all over the place. So yeah, and if you've got some vintage thread, I mean, I know vintage thread comes on a spool, but where did I put my stuff? It's over here. But you can get thread like this type of thread that is really quite flat. So if you get that type of stuff, yeah. So just sort of, I thought I'd give you a bit of a heads up so you've got a bit of time to, you know, I got a lot of stuff from thrift shops, but you can get stuff on eBay. But yeah, like I said, if you get stuck, let me know in the Etsy conversations, and I could probably make up a pack, because I do have some of the antique collars. I had quite a few, and I cut them in half because we're only putting it in like in the corner. Yeah, so it would be nice to see what everyone does for this, because I mean, I'm just doing what I'm doing, but you know, you take a little bit of liberty. That's what I like about Corinne. She makes it her own, and a lot of you ladies do. So okay, so I am quite happy. I've now learned a new skill on how they did cut work, so it's something that I've always wanted to do and wondered how they did it, and yeah, I like that it was so much easier than what I thought. So yep, got to move it out all over the place. I'll give you a bit of a heads up, it is pretty hard to, I started doing it with my friction pen, and then I end up doing it with a permanent marker pen, because it was a bit of a bugger to go on there. It just didn't seem to stay. Okay, I'll go here. Oh, that's the only thing about doing it on here like this is you got to turn it round and round. Oops, I've got this part. It doesn't take long doing a back and stitch. I'm trying not to move it round and around. Makes it a little bit interesting to do stitching. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll try not to move it round and around while I'm up here. Okay, yep. As you can see, the T not quite over. Did I end up doing that part? I did. There we go. So here we go. So there you go, guys. I might stop it there because it, you know, gets a bit monotonous, but I love the colours. Loving how it's all looking so far. So pretty good. Yeah, Well, so this is a bit of a shorter video, but I thought, oh well, I'll do the last bit anyway. See, this is why we needed to do, see how it's coming off like that? Because if you do a double one, it's more likely that it's not going to go, once it gets to that point, it will stay there. So, no worries. Well, I will, let's see, look, terrible. Very free. It may even pay to put it down with a sewing machine and doing zigzag actually. No worries guys, well I'll catch you in the next one, and thank you very much for participating, and I quite like it. It's really pretty. It's one of these ones that actually looks a lot nicer in real life than it does on this, I think. Okay, oh well, I'm going to be off working on the next one. I need to get that done because I'm going to be in France in the month of May, so that needs to get done, and it'll be pre-scheduled. So okay, thanks for watching. Bye.